All right, let's do this. Want it to be a little less, a little more. Who knows? All right, welcome everybody. It's Christmas Day. Oh my goodness, it's Christmas Day, and we're gonna do a 4-color painting on this 16 by 20 inch black canvas. It's gonna be fantastic. And don't worry, babe, I'm not wearing my new Christmas sweater. It's the old sweater. So what I've taken is Bob Ross Liquid Clear. Looks a whole lot like this. And I've taken and covered the entire canvas in that. And then as you can see, we took our big 2-inch brush and covered some areas in blue and some areas in crimson and kind of blended them together all over the canvas. And then we're just gonna basically hit it with some white paint. So we're gonna come in here, gonna dab it up just like that, just on the corner. This is the most fantastic way to make a couple little clouds nice and easily and quick, right? We're gonna take it like that, gonna come up here, and who knows, maybe come in here. Oh, look at it change where we put that crimson-y color, changes back into the blue. All messy and nasty and gross. That's what you want it to look like. It's fantastic. All right, now we're gonna grab our 1-inch brush, just like that. Gonna come over here and just start mixing. And as we mix, it's gonna blend together. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. Oh, look at that color. Starts to mix with that crimson area. And then we come over here into our blue side, and we're just pushing and making circles, not trying to cover everything, not trying to blend every little piece out. Little hard areas that we don't like, we can blend out there. Look at that, just up everywhere. Up over here, up over there. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how to make the clouds. They can just do it just like that. It's fantastic. Now, why don't we come back in, and we're gonna grab up just a little bit more white. Why don't we switch to the lighter side of the brush? A little bit more white, and then we're gonna come in and add a few little details, right? I don't know, maybe over here in these lighter areas, we had a couple little high-lit spots. Who knows, maybe over here, just little things, right? Little bits of paint, tiny little things. And that way when we blend them out, we're gonna have these very cool little lines in our paint, right? And as long as we don't overdo it, they won't go away. So what did everyone get for Christmas? Tell me where you're watching from. What did you get for Christmas? Did you get everything on your list? What was the thing that you loved giving the most, right? What lit up your kids' eyeballs? What did you enjoy giving? That's what I want to know. A couple more little bright areas in there. Look at that. Just by pushing on these little lines. Not trying to overdo it. Not trying to do anything. Ooh, it's fantastic. It almost calls for just a gorgeous little, what if there was a gorgeous little moon way off in the distance giving us all this little bright color? So why don't we take this size 10 Artify filbert brush just on the one side, smallest amount of paint. You don't even really want a whole lot on the brush because it's gonna wanna grow. And maybe right out here, we're gonna push flat, and then we're just gonna spin the brush. Rotate, 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 rotate. And the bristles are gonna widen out. And if you stay in the center and let them completely widen out, you get a very cool little moon back there. Just like that. Now, don't touch the moon, right? Everybody on TikTok knows that. Don't touch the moon. You don't wanna do that. So let's see, maybe there was a few more little light areas in here. If that moon's up there now, maybe it just got a little bit brighter. Who knows? So again, tell me, what was the most fun thing you gave for Christmas, right? I gave my wife one of those big old comfy sweater, like the oversized sweater, and she hasn't taken it off. I think she's gonna wear it everywhere that she goes, right? Look at that, just by literally mixing it up. You get all these cool little things to happen. A little bit of white where you want it to be lighter, and then as we mix it, it starts to blend with all those undercolors that we put down, right? All the crimson and blue in those different areas. It's fantastic, look at that. Woo! Fantastic. All right, let's come over here. We're gonna grab up a little bit of black, a little bit of crimson, a little bit of blue, and we're just gonna mix those into this kind of dark color. All it does is provide this really deep, dark, shadowy mixture of a color, right? Now we're gonna take the smallest amount of white, gonna mix it into there just to show you it does have a little bit of purple twinge to it, right? Now, why don't we take this and we're just gonna decide, we had this mountain that just lived so far up here. Just start dropping him down, right? And I put that little bit of white in there so you guys could see the color. Oh, that's fantastic. Why don't we come back? Maybe there was something way off here. Way off in the distance back here, like a straight mountain. You see how I'm scraping it? Because I don't want so much paint back here. if I leave the paint up there, it's really gonna wanna grow, right? Why don't we take it off into the distance? We'll work on that guy first, then we'll work on this guy next. But just dump a little bit everywhere, and that way you have all these cool little things, right? Maybe this guy was like stepping down. I don't know, something way off in the distance. So leave a little bit of room for him to grow, because I want this guy to be further away. And all of a sudden, just by thinking of it, you get cool things to happen, right? Just kind of pull him off way off in the distance. Maybe start pulling these guys sort of straight down. See how we came up into our clouds, though? You have to cover over some of your favorite part of your cloud in order to give it that depth that it's just most desperately needs, right? Maybe right here we'll have a really cool waterfall. That'll be neat. That'll be neat. Watch this. I'll take a little bit of white, same brush, haven't washed it, gonna come in here, because I'm lazy, I don't like washing brushes. And maybe off here, it was like, shoo, fell off way in the distance. So softly back there, right? And then maybe, who knows, there was like it like got into a little bit of misty fog or something down here. And take a clean brush, start to mix up, maybe tap in that mist, whatever works for you, right? It's just a far off little thing. I don't want to see all of it happening down there. Maybe we take that guy and just very lightly with the brush, just to soften him enough, right? Don't need a whole lot of detail. Very cool though. Just like that, you can make cool little things. So we're gonna come back here, grab up some of this color and make sure we go back and push that little waterfall way off in the distance, right? By pushing it way back behind this other guy. And then we'll come up, we'll come over here, we'll come down, we'll go back this way, right? All you wanna see is half of your mountain going one way, half of your mountain going the other way. So at some point you have to turn your brush and push it back this way. And then that'll give you cool little areas where you can highlight in the white area or the snow or whatever. And then a little ridge, right? Everywhere that you pulled your brush back, you have this cool little ridge start to form, and that's your shadowy side, right? Nothing can be in the light all the time. Maybe we'll bring it down. Who knows? Maybe this guy came way down here with our ridge. Yeah, oh, I like that. Oh, gotta step back every so often and look. And that looks really cool. I like that. Thanks everybody for tuning in on this live Christmas Day. Almost said Christmas Eve, but it is Christmas Day. And it is a fantastic day. I hope you guys got everything you wanted. Gonna grab a little bit of our white, a little bit of our blue, because we gotta make some far off shadows for this ridge back there. Don't wanna leave it all in the shadow all the time, right? A little bit more blue, just until you like it. I'm gonna scrape up smallest little amount. Maybe back here, there was like a little highlight, just by maybe touching on the top. Ooh, there we go. If we can drag any little teeny tiny amount down, right? It's not gonna be a whole lot of detail down there. And if there's anything that I don't like that little bit of snow, you can literally tap it, have it go away. This whole bottom thing's gonna be covered in kind of misty area anyway. So nothing too crazy. What was I doing? Going back here with the knife. Almost forgot what we were doing. Then we come down. See, there's no paint on the knife. I'm just very lightly scraping it. And that way you get these cool little bits kind of come down. But I don't want it to all look like water. I want it to look like rocks back there. So maybe we start to shape some of them into little different things that wouldn't look like a rock from so far away. Right? Maybe that guy came over here. Maybe he came up that way. Maybe he came down. All depends on what you want yours to look like way off in the distance, right? And it doesn't have to look like anything. You can literally take these guys. We're going to take them and slide them and pull them and just make them soft. And that way, all we get is just a few little details back there. What's going on? What is happening way off in the distance back there? Maybe this guy came down like this, a little sideways, a little curl action. Maybe there's a little hill over on that side. Who knows, right? Because we're going to take it again and we're going to make it soft. I can't have it be as bright as the waterfall. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense, right? So let's take this guy. We'll come over here, swipe it down. Maybe he needs just a few more little bits of detail back in there. Just small little things that we can then take and move and push and jiggle, right? It can't all be the same. It's just like that fantastic, far off, little mysterious action going on back there. What is happening? Start to see something and then you do something. That's how we do it around here. All right, let's take our white. a fair amount of white, scrape up that littlest amount of blue that we had left, just a small, small, small amount of blue, because these are going to be our highlights. I don't want them to be pure white, but they're going to be so bright against this black background and our dark mountain color, right? We're going to take up some more of that white, grab a little bit more of our blue, and make up our dark, kind of shadowy, bluish mixture, mixing in just a smidge of that gray color as well, and it'll be a kind of a shadowy, snowy color. All right, let's see. We're going to come in here. Should we do the highlights first, or should we do the shadows first? Highlights first, shadows first. It's like aerobics in here. Well, let's do the highlights first. They're more fun. All right, we're going to come in here. I'm going to come up on to the edge of the thing and just grab it and stay along the edge of our ridge and just very lightly start to pull down and just allow the paint to drag and break and do all these cool little things without you really having to do anything, right? It's doing it all on its own. All these little details, right? And we'll pull over this way. Maybe we'll come up here because it's a little thick. Scrape that guy up a little bit, right? And then watch, redeposit him back down, leaving little details and little things. Very cool, right? It does it all on its own. You don't have to do a thing. You just float the knife, let it flow, right? Let it flow across, creating all these little breaks and little details and little action. All that action in there. I'll come back onto our blue side. We're gonna come over here, very lightly, right? You don't need a whole lot of pressure. Don't need a whole lot of paint. Very small little things will happen. Look at that. Just mixing it down. Maybe it's a little bit too thick up there, so you scrape it up, kind of pull it down, get all these cool little things happening, and then you can come back in, a little bit more of our white and blue mixture. So again, just so it's not pure white, but you gotta have it be brighter than the shadows, right? And maybe this guy had a big old ridge on this side. Start to come out over here. Scrape up a little bit more of that and just kind of get anything to come off and go down the other way. Right, maybe you came over here again. Cool little areas that got hit in the light. Right? And if it's going to be light, of course, we have to have our darker shadows underneath it. And that's why it can't all be the same color, right? You can't just have blue and white on top of blue and white on top of blue. They have to be different. Differences in color. Right? Maybe this guy was back in here. Little things. Little things start to happen. Very cool. You can take a little bit down here. It can grow as long as you want it to be. It could be a crazy long mountain. Right? Maybe this guy, I don't know, still shadowy down on that side. So we grab up a little bit more of our white, mix that up just a smidge, and we'll come drop a little bit more in. Bang, just like that. Very cool little bit of mountain. Coming to life, right? We'll come and scrape up just a little bit more paint. And we're gonna come back in here and just at the smallest bit of that shadowy side. And oh, you get the coolest little effects that happen. And it's like the light is just peeking over onto the shadowy side, so we don't have just a perfect little straight line like that, right? Fantastic. All right. Now we're gonna come over here. We're gonna grab our big old 2-inch brush, looks just like that. And we're gonna take this and soften it. And the way that we're gonna do that is just very lightly. Look at the difference already. Look at the difference between here and here. Very soft, still very textured, right? So as we come up our mountain, you don't wanna go all the way to the top. You kind of go as far as you think you can go without really streaking it bad, right? All because we came down this way with our knife. We're going back up this way with our brush. And then on this side, why don't we switch over here? We'll start to pull from the edge. And we'll just following those same angles back up, just like that. And now our whole mountain is a little bit softer, a little less in focus. A little more in focus than at the top, like a picture, right? And again, there's no paint on this brush right here. I'm gonna come in, and just with whatever color we can grab, it's going to start spreading out and mixing in with our blue and crimson that we have as our undercolor, right? Even in here, you can start to see that kind of purplish crimson-y color. And all we're doing is coming up, grabbing a little bit of that snowy mix, dragging it down just the smallest bit. Don't want to ruin all these really cool things, right? Those things are fantastic. And guess what? We didn't have to do anything. It did it all on its own for us, right? And so you don't want to get rid of all of those. But you don't want to show every single piece of it either. That's no fun if you have every single thing showing. So again, we're going to come down just very lightly, swiping to make it soft. That way we don't kind of dip into a big goopy bit and then run that too far, right? And watch back here. I told you this whole thing was going to be covered in mist. Even down past where the waterfall is. You can come down, you can come up, you can come down, you can come up. And then all of a sudden, where does the mountain go? Does it continue off this way? Does it drop straight down? What happens? All that mysterious mist. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, it's fantastic. And it leaves a cool place for us to put like a tree if you wanted to, right? That's the nice thing about softening the paint, is it's going to be easier to put on your next layer. Just like that. Bam. Mix it up around the bottom. Let's throw a couple, maybe a forest over on this side. Right? We're literally making it up as we go. So let's take a little brush, size 8 fan brush. We're going to come back into that dark paint that we had. That was our same mixture that we created for the mountain, right? Very dark. That way it's going to stand out against all of this light snowy color. Maybe over here we had like just a little baby guy, just down like that. And we're not going to do the whole little tree, but maybe this was the big daddy of the forest. He lived off with all of these other little trees everywhere, right? Kind of bouncing them in here, there, everywhere, up into that fog, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and then you start to build a forest just by making a mess, right? I always say it, we're literally making a mess. Right, now let's brighten those guys up a little bit. Let's take a little bit of that white paint. It's still on the brush from the clouds. Right, maybe come in here like this. Just every so often, not too many. Don't want to have too many get bright, because watch, I'm going to show you what happens. We're going to come over here with our brush, very lightly swiping up, and all of a sudden it looks like 2 little sets of trees back in there versus just the one, right? And come down, tap the bottom, and now you don't know where the mist ends. Where is the tree line? What's happening here? What's going on? You got all this foresty, misty, just intrigue down here. What is all this intrigue? A little bit more of that dark paint and give you those shadows down in your mist as well. Woo! Very cool. Right? We can pull those guys off. We can do all sorts of stuff. So, why don't we come back in? We'll grab up a different color. Let's go into this blue. This very bright blue color. Right? Our shadowy mixture. And maybe we'll come back. Let's see, we got to have another little bit, and that might be too, yeah, it's going to be too close to it. So why don't we come in over here, have a whole nother little section of that gorgeous blue forest. Fantastic, right? Just like this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, come down in here, staying away from that blue, though. I don't want to touch all this blue to that blue. It's going to get lost. You get lost in translation, right? Don't want to have all the blue touching everywhere, but we want to have a little darker here, a little lighter over there. And all of a sudden, you got more trees in front of your other trees. And come back here very lightly. A little bit of pressure. It helps push those trees up. Helps them grow, right? Very cool. Very cool. Come back in here, same brush. Haven't washed a single brush since we started. You're going to come a little bit further down, then I'm going to come up. I'm going to come down. Maybe we'll go back. We'll go down. We'll go up. We'll go down over here. It doesn't all matter. Every time I'm tapping, you guys should be tapping the screen, by the way. Tap, 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 tap. Just like that. It's starting to mix in. You get all this gorgeous bit of forest down at the bottom. It's fantastic. All right. Just nice and easily mixed up. Boom. Again, leaving all this nice soft area. Maybe we put a big old tree or the tree top of all these trees. Some kind of something. Okay, let's switch back. Maybe since we went dark blue, maybe let's go real bright. Maybe you see what a little bit of white does. Right, if we come in here, just kind of popping it in. Maybe these guys got hit real bright, right? Coming up into those little bit of blue trees. Coming down, coming up, coming down. Just like a heart monitor. Boop, 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 boop. All over the place, right? Very simple. Very simple. Now, a little bit of pressure, again, to push those guys a little flat. Drag them up, just like that. Fantastic. Come back in, do our fog, right? Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of fog as we go down into the mist. Down into the mist, right? Grabbing a little bit of it, depositing it. That's all I'm really doing. I think we can get away with one more little one more little thing of trees right here. Should be very cool. Why don't we come back, now that we've done it very light, we're gonna come back to that dark color, or grab our crimson and black and blue mix. All right, you can do it right on the brush, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, we only got 4 colors, gotta use them, right? And then we'll come in here, maybe these guys down here. Just a couple little peaks of kind of dark shadow in our forest down at the base, right? It's a little bit hard for the moonlight to reach all the way down here. Couple little things. We're going to continue on, so I need a little bit more paint. A little bit more crimson and red and blue, crimson and blue and black. There we go. You want them kind of goopy enough to where when you give them that little swipe, they're going to grow. So just like our other trees, you got to have them be a little bit more textured here in the front. There we go. Don't want to go too close because again, we're going to put a big tree top over here. So just like that, little swipes, right? See how they're much darker, a little bit more textured. They grow a little bit more in the front. Maybe our moon came down, which is like, bing, just right here in the center. Something's happening. It needs a UFO over the top, a beam coming down, something. Man, that's cool. That is cool. So bright, so dark around the moon too. Very neat. Okay, let's put one more little tree in. Let's see, we're gonna come back in, go back to our little colors here. I don't wanna make this guy too tall. And I tend to make them too tall and then they really wanna spread out and it's just a pain in my butt. So why don't we come in, and we might have to switch fan brushes too, but let's come in up here, just into that lighter area, and then we'll come down. And that'll be our tree for, you know, our foreground to focus on. We have all this mist in the background. It will make it look like it's very close up in the front. All depends on where you put things, right? That's what it's about. Okay, come back here and just very lightly start to tap up on our tree, leaving the smallest little things, right? There we go. This guy, maybe he's a little skinny tree, lives way out here in the forest. And this is just the shadow, remember. It's not the full tree. I mean, you can do it and have it just be a silhouette, but I like to highlight them. And we drop down a little bit. Not every branch is filled all the way, right? We get down to the bottom. And all we're doing as we get down to the bottom is just pushing a little bit harder, right? And down here, maybe we'll have, oh, you know what? We can have like a cool little hill that goes off right there. That'll be cool. Or we'll do it in mist or whatever. We'll do something. We'll do something to it, right? Now we're gonna take our liquid white, which I'll probably need to get more out of the box. Bring it back to our titanium white. Bring it in here. And then we're gonna come up and touch, just to give the smallest little bit to the tip top, and come over and just start popping out little things, little branches, just with the tip of the brush, just a corner, right? Kind of rotating. Maybe every so often you get one that's nice and bright everywhere. But just the tip, kind of throwing it out, popping down, just highlighting little parts, little bits of our branches, right? Don't need to see the whole tree. Come back over to the other side. Gotta have those little depth-filled areas, those gorgeous little covered up, deep, dark spots, right? As we continue to fill it with light. There we go. Just until it looks right to my eyeballs, right? And every so often, if you feel like you went back and you got it a little bit too dark, maybe we could sneak just a little bit of dark back inside there so it's not so bright. See what I mean? Anywhere that you think, because again, it's a nighttime scene. Who knows? Maybe the moon doesn't have enough power to reach all the way over here. And you just start tapping, filling in little areas, softening little things. This is what we do just in fast, motion. Yeah, just like that. Doesn't have to be crazy bright. Doesn't have to be crazy dark. It can be however you want it to be. Just like that. Very cool little tree. And we didn't even need to get any more liquid white out, which is fantastic. Boom. A couple little things here and there, little dabs. Right, maybe the light got out on the edge out there. A couple times. Boom. Little things. Doesn't have to look the same everywhere, of course. I never like it to all look the same. All right, now we're gonna come back. We're gonna grab our 1-inch brush, just like this. And maybe at the base of this guy. He's sat up on top of a little hill. Just like that. Very cool. Very neat. Got a cool little tree. Put some Christmas lights on that guy, right? You know what? We can even do... Let's do a little bit. We're going to pop into our white just a little, and we're going to have just a little bit of mist down underneath these guys. And that'll give our snow something to bounce off of, right? Can't just be all black. So we're going to tap the base, tapping the base of the trees, giving it that little misty look. There we go. Then we can decide where we want our little horizon line to be. Maybe it goes all the way down here. Who knows? Who knows? And I always like making it a little bit brighter on the edge of the tree, right? Where it's going down. That way you could claim that the moonlight is hitting your tree, or it's casting a little bit of a shadow back there. Very cool. Nice, easy little painting. Soft little thing. We can add bushes. We could do all sorts of stuff to it. Let's do that. We're going to add in a little bit of bush. Just a little bush. That same 3 mixtures, we're dabbing in our half-round bush. Right, we're going to come up into here and just a couple little things, just a little bit of a mess. All you really need. Remember to take the base of that guy, pull him out. There we go. Now we're going to wash off the dark color off of that brush and then come back with our highlights and it'll be finished and gorgeous. Gorgeous. Right, just a little bit of that same color on the same brush. And go in, pop in little things. Little things. Don't have to see the whole bush. Don't have to see any of that. You can even come back in. Actually, we don't even have a white canvas, so it's not going to make any sense. Can we get any bit of light? There we go. Come back into the darkest areas and maybe underneath you got a few little branches that stuck out. Got to hold up all these little flowers, these little frozen flowers, right? And we'll bring those branches down into the base of the snow, and that way you have something to grab. Make them nice and soft. Bam, just like that. Very cool. All right, let's throw the old family in, and then we'll be out of here. You're like, oh my God, he's going to paint people too? No, I'm not going to paint people. I'm going to take a liner brush, a modified, very skinny little liner brush. We're going to come up here, and we're going to throw the family off into the clouds. Maybe back here. I didn't come up with the shape of these birds, but I do kind of claim the orientation, and I use them for my family. So it's myself, my wife, and my daughter, and they go into every single Paint with Josh painting that we do. There's only like 4 paintings in existence that don't have those birds, and it's only because I forgot. Let's see, we're gonna come in here. So I'm gonna thank anybody who was tuning in and watched. A Merry Christmas. I want you guys to have a great rest of your holiday. Maybe try this painting on a black canvas if you got a couple black canvases for Christmas. I don't have enough liquid white. Let me see, just for the whole thing. Now we got to stop the whole show just so I can get liquid white enough to sign my canvas. That is dedication to painting right there. Right, we're gonna come down here. And like I said, I'd like to thank anybody who was tuning in, who watched on Christmas Day. No Scrooges allowed on Christmas Day, right? There we go. Fantastic, cool little bit. And turned out to be a great little painting. Soft, easy, like 4 layers of forest, just one little tree. It's fantastic. So, I want to thank you guys for watching and hanging out and tuning in. Look at those little branches in there. Oh my. I would give you guys a better, more frontal look. There we go. You can see all the glare. This is why we don't put it here initially, because you have all that glare you have to deal with. And on the black canvas, that glare makes it look white. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, for watching. Nice little 30-minute painting from start to finish. Fantastic. So, until we see you guys again next time on YouTube, take care, have the rest of a good day, and ba-bow! Get them out of here. That was a cool little painting. So, TikTok,